All right, right next to me, I have the new Lectric XP Lite 2.0. This is the Lavender Haze version. It's the newest color that they've added to the lineup, but more so, they've actually done an amazing thing with this bike. Not only was it already a super fun bike, going up to 20 miles an hour with a 300-watt motor that actually peaks over 700. And the greatest thing of it is they've been able to keep the price the same. At $799, it's the same price as the 1.0 version, but you'll get some of the upgrades, and you can even get some higher upgrades, which I'll cover in this review. Very simple, great for like college people, great for RVs. It's, you know, foldable. It's only a 49-pound bike. Now, this bike was sent to me by Lectric XP, so this is full disclosure. I was given this bike for review, but all the commentary and the opinions are all my own. Let's get started on the review. One thing I love about Lectric is that they do make their packaging and their bike assembly super easy. This was no exception. As you can see, there was hardly any foam on this. They actually use all biodegradable wrapping now to protect their bikes when they come in. But the other thing is, it already comes like 99.9% assembled. The only thing I needed to do was to stick the handlebars into the neck. And after that, I inflated the tires. They already put slime tire sealant within the tires, so I don't need to actually add my own tire sealant into it. Once that was done, I just made sure that I had the tire pressures all the way put up, and I was pretty much ready to ride. Okay, so as we walk up to this bike here, if you are familiar with any of the Lectric XP models, it does have that classic style framing that they have on almost all their bikes. It's a foldable solid middle section there as your frame, and of course you just have your front fork and your tires. And this bike in itself comes with all of the basics that you would need for a nice fun electric bike if you just are wanting something simple for the short commuting that will take you like to the store. It's great for like college people and dorm, and also to put in the back of the trunk of the car really quickly because it's so light at only 49 pounds. Now this comes with a 7.8 amp hour battery at 48 volts, so it does have a small battery capacity that does actually have a lot of efficiency, because even at that battery you can still go up to 40 miles. Now with the upgrade on the battery, they have a 14 amp hour that's also being offered, and that will allow you to go up to 80 miles on this. And as you can see, it does have a single chain. There are no gears in the back here, but you do have a 300-watt motor that's nominal that puts up over 700 watts. I've seen on my screen display, I think almost up to 750 watts. So it does have a lot of power, and because it's only a 300-watt nominal motor, that's where your efficiency really comes in. As you can see, it has a single chain. They do have an upgrade on the chain that does go up to, for another $100, you can actually get the upgrade that's going to be a Gates carbon fiber belt driven bike. And with that, it actually adds more efficiency. It's also quieter, but for the most part, I mean, just having this chain system is enough, but you can also get the carbon fiber belt if you want, so even less maintenance will be needed for this bike, because those things last for like thousands of miles before you need to change it out. Now we do have Chaoyang tires in the back here. These are 20 by 2.5 inch, and they are street tires. So I did notice one of the differences of these tires now versus what used to come on the old bike of the 1.0 is that the 1.0 had knobbies, and with these street tires here, they do slip a little more on gravel. So I mean, that's obvious. So these are made to grip really well on street, high efficiency as well. But if you are going to go more on like semi-dirt or fire trails or those type of things, just keep in mind you might want to put on something a little more made for off-road, because these are definitely street tires and they run like them. As always, Lectric comes with integrated headlight. Also, if you look in the back here, it does come with an integrated tail light too. I do not believe this works as a brake light, but it does definitely work as a a night light when you actually have the headlight turned on at the same time. Being that this is a compact folding bike, they also added foldable pedals onto the bike, but both sides actually being able to fold in keeps the width a lot lower. And then of course you have your folding net by pushing this in, lifting this up, pulling this out. So the lever comes out here. As you can see that I just popped this lever out and then it'll fold down. So your bike does get pretty small. Look at that low profile that we actually have here for the bike. So in a trunk, you can already see, even it's folded in half, the long way, you're actually going to have only this type of height here. You take out the seat, it's even smaller and it's even lighter. So you do have a lot of opportunities to actually use this as a bike that can be stored almost anywhere. And in fact, even in my garage, I have a single car with garage, and we're able to put it on the side of the garage and the cars fit still very nicely going in and out without any issues. This bike also does come with one of the major upgrades that they've actually added to this model is 180 millimeter hydraulic brakes. And these brakes work super well, less maintenance, and you stop on a dime. And it actually is really nice. I mean, nothing was wrong really with the old mechanical brakes. I think they're only 160 millimeter rotors, but what 180 and hydraulics, you just can't deny is just nicer to have, because it's so much softer to pull the brakes to go ahead and make those brakes grab. So you also have the 180 millimeter in the back here. Your standard kickstand here, a lot of clearance, so there's no pedal strike that happens when your pedal going back here. With this plug option here, you could charge it with the battery in the bike. So right here you can just plug it in, or you can take it upstairs if you have like a condo or an apartment and you need to charge. You can take the battery out and charge it inside the house if you want to. You do have a key that comes under here. This is classic still electric. In order for the bike to run, you need to have the key in. It will not come out unless you turn it and pull out the key, and that is also a way to lock the battery into place. You also have this protector here so that when you do have the bike folded, this will sit on the ground instead of hitting your chain ring there. And you know, the nice thing about these bikes here is the size of this chain ring in the front here does allow you to pedal quite a bit. The other thing is this has a cadence sensor in it from the Lectric PWR system, a pedal assist wattage regulation or something along that lines. I don't remember the exact terminology of that the PWR stands for, but it runs a little more like a torque sensor. So PAS level 1, you'll notice that when you actually hit the throttle, you'll maybe only get 300 watts coming out of the bike, and then PS4, 2, 3, and 4 actually has 100 watts added on as you go each level higher. And what that does is it does regulate the power so that you don't get this strong jerkiness, but also the more that you pedal, it just helps add on to the assistance that you get. And it's a really smooth ride. So I really like the new PWR systems that they are putting on their bikes here. So you don't have that jerkiness. Like the Lectric 1.0s when they first came out, they were just raw power. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the folding process with you here. Very easy to do. In fact, what I want to do is show you from the underside first. What you do is you turn the key, and you want to turn it and pull it out, and you'll be able to see that there is a pin that is still staying in there, so the battery won't come out at this time. Now once that's set, you just basically, there's a latch here, pull open this latch, and I personally like to fold the bike from this side once I have it. But what I do is I make sure the kickstand is up, and then I also make sure that the pedal is almost parallel with the ground, and then I just go ahead and then bring the bike in, holding the brakes there, and then bring the bike in together so that it folds very nice and neat, and then you can lay it down here and the bike will stand up. Then what I can do here, that it's sitting nice and neat, I can go ahead and put key in the bottom. You don't ever want to fold the bike with the key in, because you can bend the key. I've seen too many people kind of do that early on with the first models that came out of this. But you turn the key, you'll see your pin come in, pull it out, and the battery will slide right out. This one here, I have the 7.8 amp hour battery that is 369.7 watt hours with 48 volts. That's the battery that comes with this. Now when you're sticking in the battery, just make sure the keyhole is on the bottom and it will slide right in. You can hold it, turn it, put your key in and hold it there. Now I'm going to leave it here because what I want to do is show you how thin it looks. From here, bringing this all the way together. So we have it all the way in. You put the pedals in even more. Folded. The width of the bike is now just the handlebar length between here and here. So by putting this down here, you can easily see why this would easily fit in a car, how thin it is. Now if you wanted even a little thinner, you could actually pop this open, take out the handlebars like this, and I would wrap it but you could actually put it in the trunk so that it's even thinner, not in the way at all. So you have this bike able to be very compact in size. So, but this for the most part should be able to fit in any trunk, and because it's only 50 pounds, it's really super easy to lift up and put in the trunk. All right, so once I have the bike set and ready to go, I can, if I wanted to get ready, I always put the handlebars up first because it gives me a point to hold onto. And to undo a bike, I just usually hold the back brake and then slide the front out, and the bike kind of unfolds itself. When that happens, then you just go ahead and push this together here. Then of course you put the kickstand down, and I usually then can pop the pedals out like that. I can actually usually do it by foot too. Back pedal's already done, and then you're actually ready to ride just like this. A simple, foldable, compact bike that can go practically anywhere with you. I mean, I can put this in the trunk of even like a smaller car like a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla, and it will fit in one of those trunks. So you have a bike that if you want to take to the beach, you don't have to have a truck. You can stick it in, or you don't need a rack. If you actually put it in the trunk of a car, people can't see it, and then you don't have to worry about it getting stolen. Once the bike is all put together here, get your key, you can stick it in the keyhole, and then when you turn on the bike, I'm gonna go over now, the next part is the display with you here. Okay, so as you can see, we do have a lot of sun that's actually in the background here, so hopefully this doesn't have too much of an effect on here. But what I'm gonna do is I have the key already turned on the keyhole. Hold this down, and your display will start to turn on here. And I want to see if I'm getting any flickering. There is a light flicker that you are seeing that is not actually seen by the naked eye. The reason why that's happening is because the frame rate of my camera makes that happen. Sometimes when you hold down the headlight button, then it changes the display dimming, but it doesn't. So this one here, we're going to have to actually deal with a little bit of a blinking or flashing on it, but just so you know, it is not part of the display. And I also wanted to check, it doesn't do too bad with sunglasses, which a lot of other bike displays do that with. So you can see it pretty clearly. Very simple control system here, just basically hitting up and down. You have your plus and minus. So if I hit the plus, keep an eye here, it actually goes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. PS level 5. That'll get you up to 20 miles an hour. That's the max you can do that. This bike cannot be unlocked to 28 from my understanding. The down button here takes you back down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Even at PAS level 1, you do get throttle. I don't know if you can see the tire, but at PS when I'm throttling, and you do see the tire is spinning back there. So at the different levels, we can go up to PS level 5, and it does actually put out more power. We can go up to 20 miles and a lot faster. So this PAS level does affect the throttle directly. The lower it is, the less wattage gets put out to it. You have a top speed of 9 miles an hour. And then if we do 2, you get a top speed of about 14 or 15 is usually. 3 will be probably 17. Oh, 19, oh, 20. So at PS level 3, you're already going to get up to 20 miles an hour. Anything else after that's probably just going to get you there faster, but it does peak out at a total of 20 miles an hour. Now, the other thing we do have here is, oh, by the way, new BMX style handlebars. That is one of the upgrades that also comes with this bike. The old Lectric 1.0 version had the standard what do they call it, giraffe neck, but the handlebar was just a single, so it didn't have this gapping here. This definitely adds a lot more stability. But the other thing that this allows you to do is that you can bring it closer to you. The bike is a little long for people who are shorter like myself, because my reach is shorter, so this can be brought a little closer. It's still comfortable just the way it came stock, but I would probably move it in maybe about, I don't know, half an inch or so, just closer to me by getting the angle moved in this way. So this is a new benefit to the bike. The grips, I think these are upgraded grips. I don't believe that I remember the other ones being like this. But you do have the ability to also have this, take this off and put bar end mirrors if you want. Everything you see here comes with the bike except for this water bottle holder. This bag, actually, you can get on the ebikeproducts.com website at ebikeproducts.com/shop. It fits almost every single bike, and we sell these on there specifically because when I first got my Lectric XPs, I wanted a water bottle holder. This came with water bottle cage bosses. I'd probably use this for a lock more so than I would for water bottles, because then you have your bottle sitting this way. I don't know if it would fall out or not, but I do like it sitting here. It's a lot more convenient and reachable. Plus, this bag can also be used to hold other stuff like cash, wallet, keys, and other things. You can actually put more than one bag as well, but everything else that you see comes here. The other thing you do see here is that there are 2 wires coming out of the brakes, which is always an indicator usually that this here is for your cutoffs. So it's automatic cutoff. As soon as you hit the brake, it cuts the motor off. The battery itself is already, the meters that's here, just a nice upgraded display from the originals that they also used to have on this. And I believe if you just hold these two buttons down together, up and down, you have your settings that you can go through here. So I'll get back out of that. I don't know the settings unless you actually have the codes, which is probably in the instruction manual, but usually I typically don't need to mess around with anything that's on here. It's already set to give you what you want. By hitting the power button for a long term, it turns on the bike. But if you just tap the power button for short clicks, then what you'll see is that it actually goes from the odometer to a trip meter, then to, this is the voltage of the battery right now. But this is a very detailed battery level. You don't really need that as much anymore, but it does say how many volts is actually coming out of the battery. You don't need anything really more. I mean, the only thing I think a lot of people like to have on this is a clock, but I have a watch. And usually everybody has their cell phones with them as well. This bike is really a raw, full-on high performance for a base model e-bike. And it is also UL rated battery in there. So you do have, I think it's IP54 rating, which means you can ride this in light rain without too much worry. You wanted to add a rack, I guess you could add on one of these other ones, so I guess you could get one of those as well. I love that they also have this little handle here if you want to carry the bike. At 50 pounds, it is a little heavy, but it is manageable, and that's what's really nice. These seats have never been really all the most comfortable seats, but they are usable. There's nothing wrong with them. And I would also say that on the ebikeproducts.com website, we do carry suspension seat posts. My friends that were actually riding this said the only thing that they wish it had is that they would have suspension on the front suspension, because that does make a difference. But needless to say, at $800, it's there to really make this bike just more manageable and a fast trip rider. Now this here with the suspension seat post added on would make this a lot more comfortable. Add a Cloud 9 seat to it too as well. On the ebikeproducts.com website, the suspension seat post we have does fit the Lectric 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and both XP models, and it is so much fun. Gets to 20 miles an hour very quickly. If you are kind of thinking about getting one of those small mini bikes, like the other ones that are just like 12-inch and 12-inch tires or 14-inch tires even, I would highly consider looking at this model first. One, the range that you're going to get is a lot better. Two, the balancing of it, because it's a larger bike, is going to be also a lot better. It can still fit very well into any car. The other thing is, because the tires are larger than the 14-inch, I'm a big fan of those small micro compact bikes. They're a lot of fun to do, but if you're going to go on anything that's a little longer than maybe 4 miles, this bike is going to definitely be a lot better. One, it goes 20 miles an hour. That's going to be a lot more beneficial. It also runs more like a regular bike, but the thickness of the tires also add a definite safety over those small micro bikes. And those micro bikes, you know, run about $500 anyway. So just a couple $100 more, you get a full bike that can go up to 40 miles on a charge. And if you want to go even further, I think you can go up to 80 miles with the extra size battery, which is like $200 more on top of the pricing. And if you want it even quieter and you wanted a carbon belt drive, then it's only going to be $100 more on top of that. So you have options that are going to be now available to it. You have a bunch of colors you can also get with this. But the best thing is, it is only $800. It is an amazing price for the bike that you get, for the performance you get. It is also Lectric e-bike brand e-bike, and what that means is that you'll get also support that is one of the top in the industry. Seriously, it's one of the best. So if you have a problem with the bike, they will help take care of you as much as they possibly can, better than any other company, because they're here in the United States, based out here, and they pride themselves in taking care of their customers. Again, this is the Lectric XP Lite 2.0 version. I just really enjoyed this bike. Again, thank you so much, Lectric, for sending it to me. If you are interested in taking a look at this bike, go to ebikeproducts.com/lite, LITE2. Again, that's LITE2 after ebikeproducts.com. The link is in the description, and it's also right here below on the bottom of your screen there. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.